Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Lukeness Monster, and today we're going to be reviewing the Star Wars The Black Series 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi release of Jabba the Hutt and Salacious B. Crumb. This is a set that I am beyond excited for. Jabba the Hutt was a figure that came out long before I collected Black Series, and I never had my chance to get my hands on this figure until now. They finally did a re-release, and this thing is awesome. It is in the throwback original Kenner packaging, which is super nice, so I do love the artwork here. Does have the 40th anniversary logo there as well. Flipping it around to the top, here we do have just some nice photos with Salacious Crumb, the actual dais here, and Jabba. Flipping it around to this side, a big image of Jabba there, which is nice. I believe this is the exact same image on the front. And then another close-up of Jabba. And the bottom is just some legal stuff, of course. Another image of Jabba. And then we do have the actual Black Series logo, which I believe this is the only place the Black Series logo is on this thing. Yeah, the only place the Black Series logo is actually on this thing is the bottom, which is quite interesting. But anyway, let's go ahead, crack this guy open, and take a close look at everything inside. And here we have Jabba the Hutt and Salacious Crumb out of the box, and I gotta say, I'm super happy to finally have this thing in my collection. But I will say, as far as action figures go, it's not a great action figure. If you're buying this set, it really is a world-building display piece to scene build, really, is what it is. I think Jabba the Hutt is great, and I really do love this. But like I said, if you're looking for a great action figure, this one might not be for you. But if you're looking to build a Jabba's Palace display, it is perfect. Anyway, first up, looking at the armrest dais thing here, this thing is pretty cool. This was originally exclusive to the San Diego Comic-Con set, but now we finally did get a mainline release of this thing, which is nice. So it's a really cool world building piece, which it's nice to finally say that we have this in the line for everyone who didn't get that exclusive San Diego Comic-Con release. Now this part here does come out, and there's a lot of cool detail on this thing. It looks like it has some of the frogs molded in to this little green jello looking thing, which is nice. And of course, you can put this in Jabba's hand for him to drink it. I don't really know what he's doing with it, but he can use it. But it does just kind of sit right in here, which is nice. And like I said, it makes for a nice world building piece. And of course, looking at Salacious Crumb, this one is actually the same mold that was exclusive to the Disney Store set, and it was supposed to come out in the Rancor 2, but of course the Rancor did get canceled. But this one does have updated articulation compared to that San Diego Comic-Con release. So looking at his articulation real quick, he does have a swivel at the neck. He does have, obviously, rotation at the shoulders, as well as he does have a pivot, but it doesn't seem to work very well. At least on this arm, it wants to stick. But on this arm, it works just fine. He does have a vertical hinge here, which is nice. Looking at the legs, he does have a joint at the, I guess his thighs is what I would consider that. I don't really know the alien anatomy here, but of course he also does have the brand new knee joints as well, which is good. This one can actually stand up on his feet, which I believe the other one was kind of forced into a sitting position. But if you do finesse it, he can kind of stand up, which is nice. But really, if you're going to get Salacious Crumb, you want him in that sitting position. And then, of course, looking at Jabba himself, I gotta say, out of the box, this thing is huge. It's way bigger than I imagined it being. And the main problem with that is just I don't have space for him. So I'm definitely going to have to find space for him because I think he's awesome. But he's definitely a big, beefy boy, as I like to say here on the channel. And, you know, if you're going to buy this, you got to have somewhere to put it. But really interesting. I don't know what I expected when I got this figure, but the bottom half here, he does have a swivel here. The bottom half is a hard plastic, which it definitely is like a hollow plastic. You can kind of squeeze it and it flexes a little bit. But the top half here is a soft rubbery material, which I thought was really weird, and it definitely caught me off guard. And the reason they have that is because it does have a moving mouth function if you move the arm, the mouth does move, and you do actually have a nice like tongue mold in there too. And I like this feature. It kind of feels like a childish McDonald's Happy Meal feature, but honestly, I like it. I think it works good, and for the most part, it adds a little bit of display ability that you wouldn't normally have with this figure. But I think my only problem is that you can't keep it open. Like it always auto goes back to closed, and so if you want to display it with his mouth open, you can't really do it. And as far as his articulation go, tail has no articulation, which is a little disappointing. I think if they ever did a remold of this, I would prefer some articulation in the tail, but I don't hate it how it is. As far as the arms go, he can kind of get into a T-pose, which is cool, but his shoulders have this really horrible clicking, which obviously this is so that you can move the arms without it being strictly connected to the jaw. So I understand why they have the clicking, but it's kind of annoying. As far as the elbows go, he can kind of get 90 degrees, which is surprising for a figure that's this old. And then he does have horizontal hinges at the wrists. So for what this thing is supposed to be, I think he has good articulation. So yeah, pretty happy with this thing overall. Anyway, first up for comparisons, we do have the Black Series C-3PO on the left and the brand new proper scale R2 on the right. And obviously these are the first two characters we see in Return of the Jedi meet Jabba the Hutt, so I thought it was pretty fitting to have them be the first two that we see in this comparison, and they look pretty good. But next up we do have the Mafex C-3PO and R2, and they are looking incredible. I think this is how I might display these figures with Jabba, because I love the shiny chrome of C-3PO, and I really do love the drink dispenser on R2 here. It really fits the Jabba's Palace theme, and because of that, they're going to look great next to Jabba. Next up, for some of the Jabba's Palace quote-unquote henchmen, we do have the Gamorrean Guard on the right, which is looking great next to Jabba, and then we have Bib Fortuna on the left. Really excited to have these characters because they are specifically for Jabba's Palace, and so to finally have Jabba to go with them, it is a huge game changer for the display, and I might have to go out and pick up another one of those Gamorrean Guards because I'm really loving how this turned out. Next up, we do have the 40th Chewbacca on the left, and we have the Boushh Leia on the right. Both these figures are great. Again, very scene-specific, so it's nice to have Jabba in the line, and they are looking great next to him here. Up next, we do have Jedi Knight Luke and Skiffguard Lando. I know Skiffguard Lando has a lot of jokes and memes about him peg-warming, but he's a great figure. Honestly, if you don't have him, please go pick him up for that cheaper price, because he is an incredible figure, and he looks great here with this Jabba's Palace display. And of course, we do have the Walmart exclusive Jedi Knight Luke, which is also a great figure, and again, very scene-specific to Jabba's Palace, so it works great with this display. And then last but not least, we do have Return of the Jedi Boba Fett on the right, and then Han and Carbonite on the left. Yeah, I think my overall opinion on these is, yeah, I'm just happy to have Jabba. He's overall a really crappy figure as far as articulation and action figure goes, but the paint apps are incredible, and he's a display piece, so using him as a display piece here, he's gonna look incredible. I definitely think something that is missing from my collection, though, is either a Slave Leia or an Oola. I think that is very important to the Jabba's Palace scene, and the archive, it doesn't have a Slave Leia, and the original Slave Leia is really, really expensive and hard to get, and we may never get an Oola figure. I hope we get one of the two, either an archive Slave Leia or a re-release, maybe a brand new Slave Leia, that would be nice, or a release of Oola at some point, just to kind of, finish off the Jabba's Palace display, but unfortunately we might never get either of those, and until then the Jabba's Palace display might just be a little weak. But what I think I'm personally going to do to display this Jabba is I'm going to go bring out the 3D printer and print a Jabba's Palace display. I really, really love world building and scene building for the Black Series. It's a very large scale to scene build with, but it's something that I think is really, really fun to do. And so if you ever heard of Landspeeder Luke here on YouTube and Instagram, he does a whole 3D printing dioramas and everything like that. And he does have this incredible Jabba's Palace display. So if you are interested in printing a Jabba's Palace display, go check him out. He is linked in the description. But this is definitely what I'm going to do. You have to get the dais base, as well as just the walls, the background, everything. A Jabba's Palace display is nothing without Jabba. And so now that we have Jabba, I think it's about time to print a Jabba's Palace display. Yeah, overall, like I said, I'm just really happy to have this thing. I think the re-release of the con exclusive stuff is nice, and overall, I give it a 5 out of 5. Obviously, articulation's a little weak, but the only thing this is going to do is sit on the shelf. I don't really need it to articulate. It has the articulation that it needs, so I'm not going to dock any points for that. Paint apps are great, accessories are incredible, and it's just exactly what I was looking for, so I don't see any reason not to give it a 5 out of 5. Anyway, though, that is going to do it for this video. Leave a comment down below what you guys think of this set, and hit the like button, subscribe if you did enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next video.